Well, howdy, folks. Good to see you. Don's here. Welcome, Don. We got Steven's here. Phil's here. So we got a few folks already in the chat. Great to see you. We're talking about some things that are coming up. Did you know there's Black Friday coming? So I've got this course I've been working on. Got a whole lot. Hey, here we go. Here comes some folks coming in here. Evan's here. Great to see you, Evan. How you doing? Dean's here. Honestly, today's all about Dean. I'll tell you all about that in just a minute here. But great to see everybody as everybody's coming in. We're talking about a chord system. I've been looking at the Chord Elevation Toolkit. I've added a section to it. If you own it already, it's up there right now. And the toolkit has chords you'll actually use. And I've used that as an excuse to create a system for really opening up the fretboard with your chords and your rhythm playing. And so what I'm going to be doing today is talking a little bit about the origins of that, what the system is, and Dean is right in the middle of all of it. Right there, he doesn't even know it yet. So great. Anyway, great to see everybody here. Tell me about your chord playing. Where do you struggle? Where do things kind of break down for you? Talk a little bit about mine. My chords, were, that kind of stuff when I was first starting off. I did a little Van Halen type chord stuff, but, mostly power chords and those kind of things. And my biggest problem was in high school. I was told the jazz band needed a guitar player in high school. I said, I get to play guitar in school. I'm in. Didn't know anything about jazz at the time, but I was in, and it was enlightening. The very first time going in there, they handed you a book full of music about that thick. They handed it to you, and they said, well, here, we're going to play one of these songs. Find it. You got to flip through there and find the song, put it all out here, and there was all these chord symbols and everything like that. And I tried to play along with my bar chords and with my open position chords, and didn't sound quite right. Now, I wasn't playing anything wrong, but it didn't sound like it worked very well, because my big, huge chords, it was a little too much for that style of music, and it wasn't appropriate for it. So I started looking around, and I looked at the keyboard player. I remember the keyboard player. She was playing, and there was all these chords. It was like, F7, sharp 9, flat 5, and all these big chords. And I thought, gosh, I don't have enough strings for all that. And I looked at what she was playing, and she was playing 2 notes on that chord. And I went, there's something wrong here. I'm taking my rock guitar thinking to this style of music. And it made me rethink things. I realized I need to know more about these chords, because I don't want to play all these notes. I want to play the notes that matter, like she did, right? That's what I want to do. So how am I going to do that? I gotta figure some stuff out here. And so, I still think, open position chords and then going to bar chords. Those are the best ways to start. It gives us a good foothold on the fretboard. But what happens when you kind of exhaust that and you realize, I'm still not sounding the way I want to? This is where Dean comes in, right? So Dean and I, we went through everything. We went through all the chords. He knew all the open ones and kind of bar chords already, but we talked about the theory, talked about all of those things. Then Dean, all on his own, said, something, I need to know all about triads. I need to know these things. This is what's missing here. And I agree with them. That's for the rock player and for the maybe country player or folk music player, the popular music player. When you get to the point where you can't do anymore, where do you go? What's the thing that actually unlocks the fretboard? And it's going smaller. It's going into shapes and intervals, understanding those things. So in the Elevation Toolkit, which is we've got the big day on Friday. There's a new section, chords you'll actually use. We go through all the ones I use and all this stuff, but then there's a whole section on triads and seventh chords, smaller shapes, these type things. Trying to get the most harmony, the most value from the least amount of notes. And what you start to find with these, let's see if this close-up wants to work today. What you start to find is these shapes start to look familiar. As I get into this, I go, well, let's see here. Let's make an E chord here. So I need an E, I need a G sharp, and I need a B for a E major triad. Well, here they all are right here. On this fret, E's in the middle, G sharp's up top, B is at the bottom there of those three strings, right? Well, this looks very familiar to almost any guitar player, right? It looks like the A chord. Well, here I am up at the 7th fret now. Now it's not the A chord, now it's the E chord. Well, I can take these little shapes, slide them around. And one of the things that you can do with them is alter them a little bit. Ooh, if I know which one's the 3rd, I can make a minor triad. I flat the 3. Now look what's familiar. Good old A minor chord, but now it's up here, right? A minor 7th chord, right? I'll take the root, lower it 2 to make it a 7th, 3rd, lower it 1 to make it minor. Now look at these kind of cool chords. And then one day, after I got pretty good at this pretty quick, these small chord shapes. And here's the dominant one. We just lower this one, the root 2 this time, right? That looks like the A7 here. Well, in this course, I go through a bunch of different versions. And actually, if you are paying attention on Wednesday, I'm actually doing a sneak peek of this part of the course as the YouTube video this week. It's already up there. Not released yet, but it's up in YouTube waiting. So Dean says, very cool. Really helped me learn the fretboard and more important, learn chord tones. Right. But what people don't, we're still in this kind of polarizing world in everything, but with guitar playing as well too. My rhythm playing's over here and my lead guitar playing is over here. What as Dean said is right, it makes him learn his chord tones really well, but it also is going to show you with these little shapes where your strong notes and your weak notes are for your lead playing, right? It's all one thing. We think, I play rhythm and chords over here. Well, we play rhythm in single notes as well too. They have a rhythm too. I've got, I just use my strong notes for the chords. Well, we do that too in single notes. Those are called arpeggios, right? I have embellishments in my chords where I use weaker notes, and then, we do that in lead too. You start to see, as you learn this stuff, the differences between lead guitar and rhythm guitar get very close. They get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And so you realize, gosh, your thinking is almost exactly the same thing. And then you see those players who go seamlessly in and out of rhythm and lead, playing chords right in the middle of their solos. And you think, whoa, how are they able to do that? Well, it's actually at that point pretty easy for them, because they're getting to the point. What I'm trying to make here is the thought process and how you deal with them are exactly the same. You have to know some stuff. The whole thing is a matching game, right? If you're not matching the chords that are playing at the time, it's going to give you tension. Now, if you want the tension, if it's something that you're trying to use, that's great. If you don't, it's going to come across as wrong. You see fusion players that sound awesome, and they're playing what are considered wrong notes. They're tension notes, a lot of them, but they know how to use them, when to use them. So the thing is getting a hold of them. There's no problem with wrong notes. Wrong notes are great. A lot of the stuff that we play has some considered wrong notes that shouldn't work in them, and the songs that it wouldn't be the same without those sounds. So getting a hold of these small chord shapes. What's our D shapes? D minor, D dominant 7, D minor 7. What's another one? The E shapes down here. This major, minor, right? Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7. Being able to find these small patterns and being able to adjust them when needed, or to connect them. Another thing you start to see is some of these small patterns across a chord progression will share some notes. So here's an E going to a B. Well, what's shared? The B. That's the same in both of these. Oh, okay, I'm starting to see that. These are fragments from my big bar chords that I've been learning, right? Well, just remember, Lee told you don't need all of the notes in these big, huge chords. There's a lot of doubles, and sometimes you can just leave notes out that it's not really going to affect anything. Think about double stops. How cool they sound, and they are only 2 notes. They can't be complete chords by the nature of that. So that's what this week is all about. We're going to be taking a look at small chords, and I know it's not what you would think. You'd think, well, to get better at something, things need to get bigger. I need to get more involved, and that's completely the opposite with this. You want to get better with your rhythms, understand how chords work, understand what the notes are in there. What is the smallest version of this chord? If you take a look, I was about to tell this story. After I had been in jazz band for a while, when I started doing smaller chords, I started taking a look at some of the songs that I knew back then. I'm not even going to tell you how long ago that was, right? But one of them was a Van Halen song. I'm not going to play it because, I get flagged for this kind of stuff. But this Van Halen song, Panama, if you go on your own and look up the tab, if that's what you want to do, or use your ear and try and figure it out, which would be better. The beginning chords are what? Triads, major triads, a suspended. All these things that we do down in here, they're just voiced for small chords. And the riff has a low pedal tone to it. It's a pedal tone with these small triads. And you go, that's a song I've heard a million times and never realized that these aren't these big, huge chords. Now, there's distortion on it and all that kind of stuff, but they're 3-note triads that make up the chord. And a lot of Van Halen songs do that as well, too. They're not big, huge, strummy songs. These chords are sharp and percussive and, really interesting. If you ever get a chance to look at Eddie Van Halen's songwriting and don't pay attention to his lead playing, you'd be surprised at that stuff. So that's what we're doing this week. Every day this week, we're going to be hanging out live till Friday comes along. And I'm really excited about it. I got that section done. It was one of those, some things you work on, they just, before you know it, they're over. And this was one of those things that just took forever, but it's really good. And like I said, you get a sneak preview for it on Wednesday. So if you would like to put a little chord progression in the chat there, anyone who feels like it, and maybe we'll go in here and try and find different ways of playing it with some small chord voicings instead of the big, huge open position and big, huge bar chords. So I'm going to go through here and see what everybody's talking about there. So Phil and Evan, I saw all those before. Everybody's just saying hi to each other. There's Dean. Okay, well, nothing. No big questions. But let's see. Dean, on his own, started doing this stuff, and that was very into. I said, like, he's really. This wasn't something that I did with him. He's like, I need to know these things. I mean, we mentioned them, and I talked about them. We talked about how. Well, let's see here. Let me get the blackboard out. We got a few minutes here. Let's get the blackboard out. I'll get a new one here. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at the intervals when I start to change these small chord shapes here. So let me go over to there. So here we go. We'll do the key of C. That's always the easiest here. Make sure this microphone's picking up. So we're going to have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so if we make the one chord, C, E, and G, the distance between the first and the third is 2 whole steps. That's called a major third. The distance between the E and the G, the other 2 notes in the chord, is a half step in the whole step. That's a minor third. So a chord shape, major triad, the first is a stack of 2 thirds. The first one is a major third, the second one is a minor third. So when we play that here, well, this is a root note. Here's our C, E, and G. I picked this shape because they're all in a line. It's not an inversion, it's C, E, and G. This small shape here is our major third. And this shape here, between the G and the B string, there it is our minor third. If you know that, you can turn this chord into anything that you want. So if I want to do a minor chord, I'm going to take the middle note, this is the third, and lower it. If I want to make this an augmented, I will raise the fifth. Well, there it is. If I want to make this a diminished chord, I will lower the third and the fifth. This gives me a minor third on the bottom and another minor third on the top. A stack of a minor third. What happened before, we had our stack of major third and minor third. When you lower this to make it minor, now you reverse the stacks. You take the middle note and shift it. So this major third, minor third, now this note that was in the middle, this one now is going to go closer to our root note. Root, some sort of third, and our fifth. The root and the fifth stay the same. The outside notes stay the same. But the inside note here gets closer. That makes this a minor third. Okay? 1/2 step smaller. And then this one expands because it went this way. So now this one is the major third. So now we know our minor third is the opposite of, our minor triad is the opposite of the major triad. This one starts with the minor third and ends with the major third, where it was the opposite there. If you know what those shapes look like on the guitar, you can create these chords all over the place in any key. It's really, really, I'm really trying to get a lot of people to get away from just blindly playing their chords. I really would love for you to spend some time, know what the notes are in there, know what they are in the key. It will change everything. It will change your chord playing for the best, So that's what I got for you today. Thanks, Dean, and thanks. What does that say, Earl? Hey, thanks, Evan. Great to see you here. There, I see there's a lot of people in here. Say hi before I take off. I'd like to know. Let's see, everybody's on YouTube. I wonder if the Facebook didn't work again today. Got a lot of YouTube people though. No Facebook here. So let's see here. Phil was here. Great to see you, Phil. I think everybody's realizing the Facebook thing is sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So great to see you, Phil. Great to see you, Steven. And Dean. Looking forward to seeing the 7th chord section. Well, it's just basically what I was showing you. Is showing you how you can make all the 7th chords right from the triad. All you do is you sacrifice one of the roots. So most of them you have at least an octave of 2 roots. You only need one. And take that other root, lower it 1 for major 7th, and lower it 2 for a dominant. So the flat 7th is in 2 of the chords. It's in the dominant 7th chord, and it's also in the minor 7th chord too. So, but anyway, great spending time with everybody today. I'm going to record an audio podcast right after this. Get a jump on the week, and I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. And thanks to Dean for giving me some good inspiration for this. This was a lot of fun. Okay, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. He said, yeah, and the chord situations. Yeah. Okay, man. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.